Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Velarde from the CIAC. I'm here with Jim Borbis, our Volleyball Rules interpreter, and this is our annual presentation of rule changes and emphasis for boys and girls volleyball for their 2025-2026 school year. With that, turn it over to Jim to begin his presentation. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Joe. Hello, everybody. Another season is upon us. So here comes your slideshow for the National Federation rules interpretation combined with some CIAC preseason meeting points. The next several slides you're going to read on your own. I'm just going to go through them quickly, and you can pause them at your leisure and read through them if you wish. Okay, here are your National Federation High School Volleyball rules changes. They start out with the ball, beginning with the school year 26-27. State associations may adopt the use of a non-smooth or textured volleyball. There are no restrictions on color or shape of panels for textured volleyballs. Joe, I'll turn it over to you on this with regards to state associations.
So as Jim just mentioned, the NFHS is permitting textured volleyballs for the 2026-27 school year. At this point, CIAC schools cannot use a textured volleyball that has not been approved by our state association. If and when it does, we will let you know and make it part of our volleyball packets. But at this point, schools cannot use the textured volleyball. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, Joe. Next slide. Legal uniforms, 421 and 421H3, I and 2. Team members may wear black, white, or gray undergarments in addition to undergarments that match the predominant color of the uniform. However, here's the key. All team members other than Libero must wear matching undergarment colors. So in the past, if you had a black team jersey, you had to wear, and let's say it was short sleeve, and your players were cold and they wanted to get their arms warm or wear something longer under it, it had to be a long sleeve t-shirt, black, okay? What this change does is it allows the team, because of a variation of colors with uniforms, to choose a particular undergarment that day for that game. So as you can see in the example here, you can have a red sleeveless or short sleeve shirt, and it could be a black t-shirt underneath, short or long sleeve, but everybody must wear a black t-shirt underneath that red sleeveless. Second picture shows you a white t-shirt under the red sleeveless. Everybody who wants an undergarment must wear a white short sleeve t-shirt or a white undergarment. Same with the third picture. If players want a undergarment and they choose gray, everybody must have gray. Okay. A reminder that pull-up sleeves do not have to match as of yet. They can choose to be any color they wish. It's preferred that you try and go with light colors if you can. Continuing on legal uniforms, beginning in 2029, even though from my standpoint, I have always made sure that numbers were being placed on the upper front of the jersey because it's better from an official standpoint. Numbers are no longer going to be allowed to be on the shoulder area, upper chest one side. That is going away. But again, I've always encouraged schools to go with a centered upper half chest number, as it visually is much easier for officials to catch the numbers. Officials' uniform and equipment. Second referee responsibilities rule change. It allows for the option of an R2 to use a lineup card or not. It is best if newer officials use the lineup card for training and alignment learning purposes. Here's the biggie. Contacting the ball in 2025. Eliminates the judgment call of a multiple contact fault in a single attempt to play the ball on the second team hit if the ball is next contacted by a teammate. This allows for play to continue when multiple contacts on the second team contact do not create an advantage for the offending team. Those are the key words right there. Do not create an advantage for the offending team. However, prolonged contact and multiple attempts to play the ball are still faults. Continuing on with contact of the ball. If a player contacts the ball multiple times during one attempt to play the ball on a team's second hit, an opponent is next to contact the ball, a multiple contact fault has occurred. So if that setter attempt using their hands inadvertently with an illegal double contact sends the ball up into the plane of the net and a blocker pushes it down, the whistle should be blown and the R1 should indicate an illegal double contact. If a player contacts the ball multiple times during one attempt to play the ball on a team's second hit and players from both teams next contact the ball at the same time in the plane of the net, it's legal and play continues. Change with regards to Libero replacement. The penalty administration for an illegal Libero replacement is now an unnecessary delay if identified before contact of serve. If an illegal Libero replacement occurs and is identified after contact of serve, it is an illegal alignment fault. Oops, excuse me. Okay, editorial changes. Equipment and accessories, legal uniform. Clarifies when a team cannot begin a match with 6 players with body paint or glitter after attempting to remove. The same penalty for illegal uniform applies. In other words, at the beginning of the match, a loss of rally point will be awarded to the opponent at the beginning of the match, and the state association shall be notified to determine further action or penalty as deemed necessary. So coaches, please be mindful that it might be fun during warm-ups or beforehand to put some face paint on or stickers or something, but it is not legal and should be removed before warm-ups occur. Thank you. Additional editorial changes, 424C, and then under Rule 7, you can read those on your own in your rule book. Points of emphasis. Ball handling. As the sport has evolved, the rules have adapted to allow multiple contacts on the ball with the caveat that the first referee should only judge the length of time on a body part, whistling a catch, throw, or illegal contact, along with the number of contacts made on the same attempt by one player. If there is prolonged contact, a catch, throw, or other illegal contact, or a team has multiple contacts on the second hit and the ball is not next played by a teammate, the first referee needs to be prepared to single those faults. First referee still must judge the contact on a second team hit to determine its legality. However, as long as it's next played by a teammate, as in A, it is legal. If the ball crosses over the net or is not next contacted by a teammate, in B, it becomes a fault. Uniforms contrasting colors. So there's still been some problems, boys and girls, with school uniforms, especially if they have not been run through your state rules interpreter via Joe Velarde or myself directly. And that's why this is here, because it must be happening around the country. The rules require the Libero jersey to clearly contrast from the team jersey, and the body of the uniform number must also clearly contrast from the uniform top. These rules are in place to assist officials in quickly identifying the Libero as well as player numbers. There are infinite color shades and combinations which make it difficult to create rules defining what colors contrast from one another. Reminder, team and Libero bottoms must be like colors. Tips for selecting color combinations. If your uniform is light colored, such as white, the body of the number should be dark or even black. We do not use the team number outline to help judge contrast. Only the solid number is considered the judgment. If the jersey is dark, the body of the number should be light or even white. Avoid too many colors on the team jersey, as the limits the colors for use by a Libero jersey and uniform numbers. Points of emphasis from the Connecticut volleyball point of view. Uniform reminder, don't hesitate if you are unsure to send me pictures or copies of whatever, and I will gladly review them and send them back. Also, dig pink type shirts, special event shirts, warm-ups, or uniforms must have legal numbers on both the front and back per Rule 4-2-4. Scorer training reminder. Coaches, please train your scorers and Libero trackers prior to the first contest using NFHS methods. See if you can get the score sheet training video from nfhs.org. Officials will gladly help with scores and trackers on game day early in the season. The recommended scorebooks that are approved are NFHS official scorebook, the Kramer NFHS scorebook, which is similar, or the Big Red Volleyball NFHS scorebook, which is also very similar to the official scorebook. No other scorebook should be used. Please use the second page, I believe, of the scorebook, score sheets, which also is the key for learning how to do scorekeeping. Approved for this year, electronic scoring has been approved for the coming 2025-2026 year, as long as it is an NFHS compliant program. Roster lineup sheets are still required. You can read through this, Max Prep especially, and your own custom version, as long as they look just like the NFHS sheet, is acceptable. Reminder that Libero tracker changed last year. You only slash out the legal substitutions so that they can quickly be added up to confirm with the head scorer on the amount of substitutions used. This is a reminder, as we've had a number of blood issues in the recent years. I'm just going to let you go remember this. This will be also given to the officials. We have been liberal over years with regards to blood issues because it is a serious thing. That's fine as long as it's taken care of rather quickly based on the official's judgment. but we're going to do a quick review of what is supposed to happen. When a player is found bleeding and or has blood on a uniform, the following steps should be taken per Rule 11, Section 4 are 1 and 3. An official should signal an official's timeout and indicate to the coach it will be an injury timeout, which is 30 seconds. The player will be directed to leave the activity until the bleeding is stopped, the wound is covered, the uniform and body is appropriately cleaned, and or the uniform is changed. The R2 shall notify the coach they have 30 seconds to determine if the issue can be resolved in that time. If not, then the coach may take a timeout for extra time or substitute the player for the player. If it is a libero, the replacement player must re-enter the game. A substitution may occur, but only for the replacement. No other subs are allowed. The ball should be checked as well as the floor with help from players. Any blood on either of those need to be cleaned quickly. The player may re-enter the game later after the bleeding issue has been resolved. Okay? You can reread that again. Varsity contests. This is on pre-match announcements and decorum during the anthem. There's still a handful of teams out there with a lot of things going on after warm-ups, but just to remind you all, once the warm-ups conclude at 1 minute left on the remaining on the clock, non-team members, basically sub-varsity and other student helpers, should leave the court and bench area prior to the announcements and anthem. Okay? Exception is designated team manager or managers used at the bench for specific purposes. Also, there should be no one on the court during the anthem. If the anthem is to be played, all roster players may stand on their respective end lines if desired by the coach. Non-starters go back to their bench after the anthem. That came into being in 2024. Other option is the starting players, 7 of them, may be called out from their bench to their end line. The starters should not approach officials, but may offer a wave. Any greetings with the opponent coach is best near the score table. Players should never enter the opponent's side or go under the net. Coaches, you can discuss what your intentions are prior to the pre-match conference. The above helps keep things running smoothly, prevents delays for the R1 to beckon the starters into their court to begin the match. Thank you very much for helping in this area. Just a quick reminder on senior nights, please keep it limited. No big theatrical productions, limit 1 speaker, and try and get it done before your 20-minute warm-up begins and adjust your starting times accordingly. Game day reminders, we appreciate it when you have a couple of towels at the score table, as well as a couple of chairs for the officials behind the score table. Also, please have your scorer, tracker, and clock operator at the score table during the pre-match conference. Again, all non-rostered students and student helpers must have proper athletic footwear on when assisting during warm-ups. That's the entire playing surface area. Only staff rostered players and managers may be at the bench during play. No cell phones by players, student managers at the bench, please. Help players shift gear from club habits in the off-season to our NFHS CIAC expectations. And reminder, service time is only 5 seconds, so your jump servers need to speed up their routines. Thank you. Last quick note, been going on for 4 years, and everybody seems to be doing well with it. Sportsmanship. Remember, the only thing we ask is that conduct during a player's term of service is respectful. There shouldn't be any yelling and screaming at the instant of serve, which could be construed as disruption of the server. Spectators and fans do not have to be quiet during service. And we should not make any announcements telling spectators to be quiet during terms of service. Fans should be able to cheer for their teams during service. The next several video slides will be basically for your viewing at your leisure. Good place for learning for coaches and parents and students and officials. Don't hesitate to visit it. Your NFHS network, many of you are tied in, some of you are not. Great way to watch prior game video and send out clips to your student athletes. How to be better. Quick reminder on the update of the mark on the ball. Thank you, coaches. That concludes the portion of the coaches' rule interpretation meeting. Joe, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jim. Again, a reminder to everyone, if you have rules questions, you can email Jim, or if your athletic director has CIAC questions, you can email me. Both our emails are in the volleyball packet on the CIAC website. We want to thank everybody for your attention and wish you a great season and a very successful season. Thanks very much, Jim.